Service. Welcome back to the Full Service Podcast. I am Tank Smith, your host. Today is episode 103. Thanks for being here. As always, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, at Full Service Pod. I am at Tank Funkadelic. If you want to support the show, the best way to do that is by joining us on Patreon. Each month we have at least one Patreon exclusive episode you cannot hear anywhere else. That's patreon.com/fullservicepod. If you enjoy the show, make sure you are subscribed on whatever platform you're joining us on. Hit that little plus button, that heart button. Maybe it says subscribe. You'll be alerted as soon as those new episodes drop. Today, episode 103, super excited. My guest is Bay Area-based companion porn star Zuri Love. We caught up a few weeks ago. Zuri was on tour in Atlanta for a couple days, so we sat down, recorded this. Super excited to have them on the podcast. We talk Halloween. We look at Zuri starting sex work sugaring, transitioning to companionship, their passion for the decriminalization of sex work. We talk touring. We talk porn. We talk representation in porn. We talk OnlyFans. We look at that period in August when they said that they weren't gonna, allow adult content. We look at what those 5 days look like for Zuri. Zuri gives advice for companions, for clients. We look at misconceptions in sex work, and we look forward to the future. What's happening in the future? Shout out Zuri. I appreciate you coming on the pod. Follow Zuri. They are on Twitter at Zuri Love. That is at ZURIL0VE. On Instagram at Zuri Love, ZURIILOVE. And you can find Zuri on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Zuri Love, ZURIILOVE. I got links in the show notes. Click the links, do the things. Give Zuri a follow. I'm going to stop talking. I hope you enjoy my interview today with Zuri Love. Thanks. Listeners, so excited. So goddamn excited.
I know. I'm so excited to be here.
This is great. This is amazing. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me onto the podcast. I'm really happy that you sent me an email. I wasn't expecting it, but when I got it, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
When you replied, I was like, oh, it's happening.
Very appreciative of that. I definitely wanted to do more fun stuff while I was here, so this is a pleasant surprise.
Hell yeah. How we're in Atlanta right now. How you liking Atlanta so far?
I like Atlanta. It's like my third time here, and I'm trying to eat more food, especially good food.
What have you had anything good yet?
No, not yet.
Anything on the agenda?
I really want barbecue.
Okay.
Really bad. Really bad. Really good barbecue.
There's Fox Brothers barbecue. It's pretty good.
Okay. Anything because I know there's a lot of black people in Georgia, which makes me, very happy. Yeah. So I want some black-owned
Black-owned
food.
barbecue? Okay.
Yeah, black-owned barbecue. Anything black-owned.
Okay.
I want it in my mouth.
Well, there's a chicken wing place, a pizza place, Jack's Pizza and Wings on Highland.
Okay.
So fucking good.
I love pizza and I love wings, so that's
you
perfect.
gotta go to that spot.
Okay.
I recommend
I'll
it.
do that tomorrow.
I recommend it to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will get info on that later.
How was I saw you went to the aquarium earlier today. How was the aquarium?
The aquarium was so much fun. I recommend everybody who comes to Atlanta to go to this aquarium. It's one of the largest aquariums in the world, and they have whale sharks.
They're so big.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite animal? Is it?
Well, other than the whale shark, I love the hammerhead shark, and there was a giant Pacific octopus, which is one of my favorite animals of all time.
Nice.
Which is huge. And then I think one of my other favorite ones is the California sea lion.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do a lot of work with the West Coast for preserving sea lions and also taking ones into captivity that literally cannot survive on their own because of circumstances they lost their mom.
Yeah.
They got separated from their mom by a big animal trying to eat them. So, yeah, I was very happy to see them there because I haven't been to the aquarium back home in a few months and I miss it. Yeah. So, this was very nice to do.
I feel like I do love the aquarium because it's one of the only places aquariums and zoos where you get to see just kids don't really understand the concept of glass.
Yeah.
And
they're confused.
They're like, it's going to get me. And then they're like, there's a layer here. Mm-hmm. There's a layer, you're safe.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's so cute to see like kids going around,
Yeah.
just enjoying themselves, but also being like, "Oh my god, I'm scared." I'm like, "It's okay.
Yeah, I think
Like this glass is so thick.
it's so thick.
Like you will be fine." I also saw beluga whales, which I was not expecting. That's
yeah.
another favorite animal of mine. I was so super happy about that.
Hell yeah. Hell
Took
yeah.
lots of pictures.
Nice. Where are you visiting us? Where are you joining us from? Where are you coming from?
I am joining us from the Bay Area.
Ooh boy.
From Oakland.
Hell yeah.
Which I call home now.
How do you like Oakland?
I freaking love Oakland. It reminds me of home, but also is not home. So it's great.
So say I've been to Oakland. I've driven through Oakland, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never like stopped.
Yeah.
If I'm going, you got any recommendations for the people? What's fun to do in Oakland?
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit of an introvert, but I like to go on walks. So I would recommend going on like a nature walk in some of the parks that they have. There's also the Botanical Garden. Beautiful, has lots of flowers. I would definitely suggest going in season though. Rose Garden.
Rose Garden?
Yeah, the Rose Garden. And if you're looking for good food, that's like, it's my favorite place to eat. And it's called Gus's Fried Chicken.
Gus's Fried Chicken?
Yeah, it's in downtown.
Okay.
Oakland. Yeah. It's bomb.
Hell yes.
Eat there.
I feel like this is good. We already got Jack's, we got Gus's.
Yeah.
People listen to the podcast, they got two like opposite side of the country recommendations. You really can't go wrong.
Exactly. Like they have some really tasty chicken and bomb potato salad and baked beans. Oh, I can't wait to go home and eat that.
Fuck, we gotta stop with the food.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes, I'm getting hungry.
I haven't eaten yet. It's
Oh no, okay. Yeah, I need to eat again. I ate lunch earlier, but I need dinner.
So I feel like, we're towards the end of the pandemic, hopefully. Who knows what's happening? It's going to be around but stuff's opening up. You know. Is there anything you're excited to do that you haven't been able to do in the past, like 18 months or so?
One thing I'm very excited to do, which I didn't get to do last year, it involves Halloween. I'm a big Halloween fan, so I'm excited to go to the Halloween events.
Do you have a costume? Are you going as anything?
I don't go dressed up to the Halloween events because I don't think adults are allowed to, depending on where you go. Because I tend to go to Not Scary Farm, which is one of the oldest parks in California, and Disneyland, which adults aren't allowed to wear certain costumes.
Okay.
It makes sense, they don't want to confuse them with the characters. Halloween Horror Nights, however, I don't know if you can wear costumes there. I've actually never asked, but I would if I was allowed. But I also want to be comfortable because I'm just going to be screaming and laughing the entire time because I'm getting scared. So I tend to go in comfortable clothes. But I'm going to be doing outfits for every day of October.
Nice.
For the month. Yeah, 31 days of Halloween.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
I've been waiting for Halloween since June. Well, even before that. Halloween is 365 days for me. That's because I am just a big Halloween fan.
Halloween's the best. It's like right near my birthday. So I'm like, I love it.
Yes. It's not anywhere near my birthday. I wish it was, but it's still my favorite month out of the entire year.
Hell yeah.
I think I call the whole month Halloween. The whole month's Halloween.
You're like, happy Halloween. You're like, it's the second. You're like, you're wrong. It's Halloween. It never ends.
It never ends for me.
I saw you're learning sign language.
Yes, I'm doing rather poorly at it right now, but I'm trying. I've been kind of distracted with other things, so when I have the chance in my house, we have the alphabet on our walls, like on posters, and so I go in there and I practice signing like A, B, C, D, E. Fuck.
Oh,
see, exactly.
Hey, you were good that was good for a second though.
I always forget E and F and G. Like, oh my god.
What's the one with the swoop? Is there one with there's a swoop happening in one of the letters?
Yeah, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. No, wait. M, N, O, P.
Okay.
Yeah. Q. I also have an app on my phone, which helps me.
Nice.
Because I used to learn in elementary school, and I knew the entire alphabet, and it was memorized for a long time, but I just forgot. My mom still knows the entire alphabet, though, and can sign it at me.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so I'm also trying to learn for my nephew, my youngest one. He's nonverbal. He still talks. It's just, it's hard for him to enunciate his words for whatever reason. So he's getting tested soon, and hopefully we can figure out what's going on. But I'm learning it also for him. So if he doesn't want to talk or can't talk in the future, like, and enunciate, which is difficult. It's difficult for him because he gets frustrated because he's very smart at 3 years old. And when you can't understand him, he gets mad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to learn sign language. So you can tell us what you want in sign language and we're going to understand you.
That'll be great.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And also I have one of my good friends is deaf. So.
Gotta be able to communicate.
Exactly. Everyone should learn how to sign. Everyone.
Yeah. What, so I know you're a cartoon fan.
Yes.
What's an underrated cartoon for the people? You got a cartoon for the people?
Let me think. I have a couple cartoons, actually. I highly suggest watching Steven Universe.
Okay.
I don't think it's underrated because most people like it, but that's my favorite show. It's very queer, it's very POC forward, and definitely something I recommend to people who, want to feel some feels.
Yeah. I love Fields of Fields.
Yeah, there's a lot of feels.
Nice.
Let me think. What else? Gravity Falls. I'm naming mostly like kiddish shows, but they're for adults too. So,
yeah.
But yeah, because if you watch Gravity Falls and you come back, you're gonna be like, Zuri, that was a kid's show, but that wasn't a fucking kid's show.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And also, what else? One of my new favorite animes is called Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Ooh.
I hope I pronounced that right. My bad. I highly, highly suggest watching that.
Okay.
It caught me off guard.
Okay.
I was very happy.
Hell
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. What's something you're passionate about?
Decriminalizing sex work.
Yeah.
That.
Were you passionate at all before you got into sex work about decriminalizing sex work, or is that something that has kind of evolved since you got into sex work?
I got into sex work pretty early, and I've always thought that sex work was normal. I've been watching the Moulin Rouge and Pretty Woman, and a bunch of other like movies about sex workers for a very long time. And my mom has never made it seem like it was a bad thing, just that there would be a lot of stigma faced against them, which, we could see in a lot of the media.
Yeah.
Like even in Family Guy, they're constantly bashing on hookers. So what does that say about how society feels about us? But yeah, I've been pretty radicalized for a while. But becoming one definitely radicalized me more and made me push to want better for not only sex workers, but for the disabled, for those who are in the LGBTQ plus community, for those who are Black like me, for those who are brown, for those who are Asian, for everybody who's marginalized and under the patriarchy's boot and forced to fucking survive under capitalism. So yeah, it definitely has helped me want to radicalize myself more, which I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty radical at this point. Like, I have different views, but I'm still like radical.
Do you feel like you've been able to influence people, like that maybe were like not necessarily had a negative stigma against sex work, maybe they didn't know anything, but you've been able to like change how they feel about it through knowing you?
Yes, I do. I definitely feel that that's happened. I have a lot of friends who like support what I do and have learned from me like certain terms, like why you shouldn't say this or why you shouldn't say that, things like that. Because like the stigma and bullcrap that sex workers face is constantly in society and like pushed on us. So it's kind of hard sometimes to get out of that mindset and get rid of those phrases. So being a sex worker, it's very helpful to let people know, like, hey,
yeah,
it's not a good word to use. You're not allowed to use that word. Please.
Or stop. It's like only you can use.
Yeah, only we. Yeah, say if someone, because for a perfect example, I was talking to my mother on the phone the other day, and I casually called myself a hooker because that's what I am, and she's like, oh, don't call yourself that, blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's what I am. I can use that word.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah,
but I can, and it's how I take back my power.
Yeah.
So
it makes me think of So Margot St. James.
Yeah.
So one of the things that she always kind of preached, I feel like, was she would use the word prostitute, use the word whore, because it was like, I'm going to take this power back and try to change the stigma. Because if it's this taboo word, then it's always going to be a taboo thing. And then, but if we use it, and be like, wear it as like a badge of honor kind of thing, then it'll take away this negative stigma.
Exactly. Understood and completely agreed.
Because I'm not going to change how people feel about that word. It has to be sex workers themselves or whoever it is.
Exactly.
That's under that umbrella.
Who's under using that umbrella, that word, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Love you, Margot St. James.
Shout out. Like, I have a couple episodes where I played a couple of her interviews. They're so good. Like, it's like,
I need to listen to them.
But the thing that sucks is like she's saying things in the 70s that people are saying now, and it's like not much has changed at all.
Not much has really changed at all, and it's so fucking disappointing. But further shows just how bad stigma is and how long it can take to get yourself out from under the thumb of the stigma, because they just don't want to listen to us. But luckily now we're in the age of social media, and that makes it a lot easier for them to listen to us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, with the internet, it's like the word can spread instantaneously.
Exactly. Thank goodness for the internet, honestly. But it's also a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Because everyone's being bombarded with information constantly. It's like,
exactly. What? And then your platform is getting taken down just for trying to freaking exist.
Yeah.
So it says a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So I feel like I try to start at the beginning of like everyone's kind of like sex work journey, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can remember your first exposure to sex work?
Yeah, honestly, it was with movies.
Okay.
Yeah, as a young child.
Yeah, I know you mentioned like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching those movies for a really long time because I have a pretty freaking progressive mom. I know I'm going to mention my mom a lot, but it's because,
hell yeah,
been doing a lot of work on our relationship, and I'm pretty proud of her. Most of that influence is from her. So I know she's always been like pro that, just hasn't talked about it outright.
Yeah.
Until the last couple years. But my first instance of that was watching Pretty Woman and then watching the Moulin Rouge and being like, wow, I would do that.
Yeah. How did you decide to get into sex work?
Money.
Money?
Yeah. At around 18, 19, I was still in high school because I had to repeat my senior year due to a lot of circumstances. That was the year I got diagnosed with ADD, and that was a very, very... 2013 and 2014 were like two of the hardest years of my life. So, yeah, I got into it for money because I was working at PetSmart part-time and going to school at the same time. And I had to commute from LA to Orange County because the school I wanted to go to, the community college I wanted to go to, was over there. And I didn't mind doing it, though, because at the time I did not want to be at home. Like, things were not okay. Things were bad. Like, very stressful, very depressed. So I wanted to be down where my friends were. And the school I wanted to go to was a pretty good school for musical theater. That was my major at the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, musical theater and acting. And so, I started because of that and was doing sugaring and Craigslist dates and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when that started.
So, getting into sex work, do you have any kind of like, I guess, preconceived idea of what you thought that might be? Getting into it, does that differ at all when you get in, or you kind of going in blank slate? I'm doing this thing. How does that kind of look for you? I guess.
Honestly, I didn't really go in with a blank slate. Like I did, but I also had Tumblr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in the Tumblr sugar baby days back when that was like a huge, huge thing. And then that transferred over to Instagram. But that wasn't for a while. But I knew it was going to be hard. My preconceived notion was that it was going to be hard, especially since at the time I was young, a bit naive, a lot more overweight, and insecure. And just a dark-skinned Black person going into sex work and trying to go into sugaring is not fun. It can be, but I had a pretty tough time starting off, to be honest.
Do you like know anybody at that point that's also like sugaring in sex work at all that you can kind of? I know you have Tumblr. Do you have anybody like physically that you're like able to like lean on? I guess at that point, or is it like solely you?
No, I have a couple of people to lean on, like in terms of like who do sex work just like me. Thank God. Before though, I did not. No one around me did sex work. Not any of my friends. I was the odd one out. But one of my BFFs, one of their parents did. So
Okay.
she never had an issue. Like supported me, but was like, yeah, from what my mom has told me and from what she's seen, it's good to have like an exit plan, like shit like that.
Okay.
And I'm like, cool, sounds good. But no, I've had support from them, from like my civvy friends, but none of them are sex workers. So it was a little different and a little difficult to talk about some things, but I could talk about those things with them because they had no judgment and fully support me.
Yeah.
So, but now I have like way more sex worker friends who are like, you know, my friends and coworkers, but they're my friends.
Yeah.
Like, and I can lean on them and they can lean on me and we can be there for each other because we know what it's like.
I feel like I've said this on the podcast too many times, but it's like if I like have a comedy related problem, I want to talk to another comedian because they get it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like if us as black people like want to talk about certain things, we need to talk to other black people.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing with everybody else too, no matter your skin tone.
Yeah.
Like, because damn.
It's literally, if you work at Taco Bell, you know, you might talk to somebody who also works at Taco Bell, and they're like, the fucking crunch wrap, am I right? You know what I'm fucking talking about. You rap that shit just like I rap that shit. You know?
Exactly.
Same thing. What do you feel like your biggest challenge was starting out?
Getting booked. Because, you know, new. People don't know who you are. You don't really have a presence. Yeah. Getting booked and getting continued to get booked.
When do you feel like there's maybe like a change? Like, so you're doing sugaring. You said you wanted like a few Craigslist dates. Now you're like in companionship. I feel like that might look a little different than what you were doing at the beginning in sugaring.
Yes, it looks way different from what I was doing in the beginning.
When do you kind of like decide like I want to do companionship? And what does that kind of change look like, I guess?
I decided around 2016 that I wanted to do companionship, especially after a certain sugar baby told me that I wouldn't be able to be companion because of the way I looked and the way I presented myself. Because at that time, I had natural hair, was plus size, like, wasn't really doing... Well, I'm still plus size, but I was way overweight than, you know, I should have been at that age. For my personal body type, it was detrimental. Like, my knees were fucked up, my feet were fucked up, my back was fucked up.
Yeah.
Everything was fucked up. So... someone told me that I couldn't do it, and that made me mad.
Like, so, watch this.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I can't do it. Watch. And here I am now.
Fuck yeah.
It's been a struggle. Yeah, in the beginning, like, I may have made some, like, stupid little choices with the way, like, I presented myself, but I'm me.
I feel like there has to be a learning curve in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
There
is a learning curve. I learned like not to put too much out on the timeline in terms of like my personal life. I learned not to oversaturate the timeline like with my shit. I learned how to build up my brand and get more followers since 2017 and cultivating like my what's the word?
Persona?
Yes. Yeah, I had to work on who I was and figure out who I was. And first I was Ava, and now I'm Zuri.
Okay.
And I feel that Zuri is me.
I feel like I never met Ava. I feel like Zuri. I feel like it's more you.
Yeah, it hit me like lightning. When I figured out my name, I was like, goes to Google. What does beautiful mean in Swahili?
Oh shit.
Yeah, Zuri. And
damn.
I'm a lovable person, and I believe in love. In all forms, so that's why I made my last name Love. Beautiful Love.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we kind of talked about this earlier where I mentioned like, you know, like as comedians, right, a lot of times they say that people don't find their voice until like years in, like they're like who they are on stage essentially. Yes. How is and that comes from just doing stand up for a long time, doing the job for a long time, and you evolve as a person. Do you feel like you've figured out who you are as a sex worker, or is it you're continuing to grow, or is like how is it finding Zuri, I guess,
I definitely think I'm at the point where I found myself. I'm still growing, of course, but I'm pretty sure like I know who I am in terms of like Zuri. I am rebranding soon though.
Okay.
I'm still gonna be Zuri.
Nice.
And I'm still gonna be the same person. It's just I am an ever-changing chameleon-ass shapeshifter, so you never know what you're gonna get next, which is why, especially when it comes to my photo shoots, that's why they look the way that they look. I'm always trying to like change.
Hell yeah.
In little ways and also big ways. So
Fuck yeah.
watch out for the next photo shoot.
So, starting out in companionship, how was it initially like finding clientele? How was that for you?
Finding it was a little difficult at first, but it takes time for some people and sometimes it just goes right off the bat.
Yeah.
But finding clients for me, for the most part, in terms of like where they find me on Twitter.
Okay.
Because I have a big Twitter presence now. It didn't used to be big. I used to have barely any followers, but I've been working on it for a really long time. So
killing the Twitter game.
yeah, I'm trying.
Killing the Twitter game.
Thanks.
People follow.
Yeah, follow me, Zuri Love L0VE. But yeah, I've been doing that, and they also tend to find me on Instagram now.
Okay.
Which is a little weird because it didn't ever seem to work before.
Yeah.
But now it is. But it's kind of frustrating when you use it and you try to post shit and then Instagram's like, no, deletes my shit.
They do love doing that.
Yeah, and I post some tame stuff and then I see other people posting like the same thing that I literally posted, but it's still up, and I'm like, I don't appreciate that, but okay.
Their policy is definitely not uniform across the board.
They are not uniform. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have an average clientele that comes to see you?
Yes, I do feel like I have an average clientele that comes to see me. They typically range from like 25 to 60 plus.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends, but I have a variety. But the average people that do come are white men.
Okay.
But that's normal.
Yeah. They have a lot of spending power.
Yeah, most of them have a lot of spending power. So yeah, it's honestly kind of half and half at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, a big majority of them is.
Okay. Do you feel like it varies based on location?
No. It's white men, and then I also get some lovely brown men occasionally.
Nice.
Also the occasional, black man, which makes me very fucking happy. Because I love black men, so I want to see more black clients.
Hey, shout out to the black dudes listening to the podcast.
Yes.
What up?
What up, my black men? I love you. Y'all are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Also subscribe. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Really appreciate that. Thanks.
Yes.
Also Patreon. I appreciate the subscription. Thanks. Do you ever feel pressure in a session to live up to clients' expectations at all?
No, I don't. Because they already know what they're going to expect. Because I pretty much lay it out for them. I'm very transparent and blunt with my boundaries, and
I feel like that is the cool thing about social media, to where it's like you can kind of put out what you want people to see, and then they can look at your Twitter, scroll through your Twitter, and kind of get an idea of who you are.
Exactly.
Like I've never met you before. Mm-hmm. I followed you on Twitter, and like look through the Twitter, and I'm seeing you now, and I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm a real person.
Yeah. So I feel like people can see that, and they can kind of know you before actually getting to like meet you in person.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I like Twitter so much. And that's why I've gotten a lot of Twitter clients, is because of my Twitter. And I'm glad I'm blunt and, more myself on my Twitter, because it weeds out the assholes.
Yeah.
I don't want asshole clients because I have very little tolerance for that.
Oh, yeah.
And I have very little patience. So, especially like within the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I don't know what it is. It's not just me, but some clients have just been, messy. So, very messy. Downright dangerous. So I lay out my boundaries flat out, and they respect that. So I'm pretty good in terms of that.
Oh yeah. So currently on tour in Atlanta, how do you like touring? What's touring like?
Touring can be fun. It can also be very nerve-wracking. But I like it. Flying is okay. I am a little in planes, but for the most part, I tend to put my headphones in and go to sleep because I just don't want to be up because I'm surrounded by people and I can't leave the plane. So I'm just going to knock myself out or read a book for hours.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I tend to sleep. And touring can be really fun because I have a lot of friends all over the country and the world. So eventually, when we're allowed to go into other places where they accept Americans, hopefully I can go visit those people. But until that time, I'm staying here.
Yeah. That is a cool thing, like, just like with networking and knowing so many people in different places.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I can go to Atlanta and see somebody that I know. I can go to Nashville. I can go to Seattle. I can go to Boston. It's like you can go to all these different places.
Exactly.
And you're like, hey, I have friends wherever I go. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
It's nice to have friends wherever you go.
Yeah. How is it, I guess, finding clients that are not, in the Bay Area? Is that driven a lot through social media as well?
Yes, that's driven a lot through social media. I've also been trying to update my SEO on my website. That definitely helps when people search in Google for escorts. But yeah, it's definitely social media. Twitter and Instagram are like my biggest things where people have been finding me. And I'm like, cool. That's because I don't have a lot of followers on Instagram, but my Twitter now has like 32.
Yeah, you got a lot.
7. I don't know.
32.8,
Yeah, 32.7 or 32.8. It's at that point now.
It's going up.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite places to tour?
I really like touring Philly. Philly's fun. I love New York, but I haven't had a lot of luck there yet.
Okay.
But that's because New York has a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I can tell you my least favorite place to tour.
Least favorite?
Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm from there. But not everybody has a lot of luck with Los Angeles because it's saturated, and also some of the clients are just not worth it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this is coming from an LA baby, born and raised. Some of the LA men are trash, and I highly suggest you stay away. But the rest of you, I love you. This is no diss to my Los Angeles men, because there's a great bunch of them there.
Shout out to the people in Los Angeles.
Yeah, shout out to LA, my home city.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you subscribing to the Patreon. I really appreciate that. I can't stop plugging it.
Plug it. It needs to be plugged.
Needs to be plugged. Where are you? You're touring next month. You're touring currently. Where are you going after Atlanta?
Yeah, after Atlanta, I'm going to Philly, and then after Philly, I'm going the fuck home for a couple weeks, and then October, at the end of the month, the 18th to the 23rd, I'm going to Seattle.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, super excited for that. I
That'll
haven't been
good.
in that area for a while. Because I realized I've been in the area because I had to drive up there a long time ago to go to Vashon Island.
Okay.
So I had a flashback and I was like, wait, I actually have been in that area a long time ago with my family.
Nice.
So I'm super excited to go back and see what it looks like now.
Hell yeah. So, aside from companionship, porn star.
Yeah.
Porn's happening.
Mm-hmm, the porn is happening.
How long you been in the porn game?
I think I've been in the porn game since maybe, I think it was either 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
I can't remember, but one of the first ones I had, I think, was with my friend Johnny. He's really cool, Johnny Husky.
Nice.
And yeah, and then a few after that, which I'll not name because I didn't ever post them because reasons. But then I had my crash pad shoot. Having another crash pad shoot, and I have a bunch of people that I want to shoot with. It just hasn't happened yet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, super excited to be getting more into porn.
Nice. How you have an OnlyFans?
Yeah, I've had an OnlyFans since like they first started. It just didn't pop off until maybe 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've had it since the beginning.
What's the URL?
Oh,
OnlyFans.com/what?
slash Zuri Love, ZURIILOVE. Pretty sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And if not, it's ZURRILOVE.
Okay. What do you think about OnlyFans? How do you, before August of this month, I feel like there's a before and there's an after, right? How do you feel about OnlyFans prior to, last month?
I still thought that they weren't shit.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. But now after, the events of August, I'm like, hey, y'all are still not shit and will continue to be that way until I see different, because they threw us under the frickin' bus and then tried to backpedal and include us in a crappy apology.
Yeah.
So I am not here for it.
The funny thing is like the majority of people are not on Twitter, and it's like you're going to give sex workers. I mean, they gave us a little shout out on Twitter, but it's like, what the?
It took you guys this long to acknowledge us, like after you stole the entire site, anyways, off of a sex worker. Like,
it's like I'd love to give you credit, but only in 240 characters or less.
Exactly, because they know that they were caught in a bunch of bullcrap. Because you're going to ban adult content. Well, here's to losing all your money.
Yeah.
And thanks for throwing us under the bus again and not supporting us and standing up for us.
Yeah.
When they could easily. So
it's not like they don't have fucking capital.
Exactly. They have the capital and they have the platform to push back against the laws that were passed to help decriminalize sex work and stop this damn stigma. Yeah. Like, not stop it, but slowly get it the fuck out of here, because it's 2021 and we're still treating sex workers like shit and letting them die and get abused and our platforms taken away.
A lot of people during the pandemic last year, a lot of people were like, okay, I'm going to stop doing in-person work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to focus on like online work. A lot of people started an OnlyFans, and it's like when you then take away OnlyFans, it's like, then I have to go back to in-person work because you're cutting off that fucking revenue stream.
Exactly.
And it's like a lot of people might put themselves in like dangerous situations, like literally because of that like lack of platform.
Exactly. Like, you're putting people into dangerous situations, like to get food on the table and bills paid because you just don't want us to like.
I mean, also too, it's like the fucking payment processors like MasterCard and Visa.
Yeah,
have like anti-porn lobbies behind them too that are like, shut it all down. Yeah. It's fucking like, legal. It's like legal shit. What the fuck?
Exactly. Like, what do you mean shut it down? Like, and if that's the case, then okay. As a great sex worker said, I think her name is Sydney Leathers. I think,
okay,
on Twitter.
Yeah.
She said, well, if you're going to get rid of OnlyFans, like, we're just going to go back to fucking your husbands. Yeah. Like, and okay. Fine. I'm 100% okay with that, because what else are we supposed to do? Like, just kidding. Lots of sex workers have other jobs and, like, education, even though you don't need an education to, like, be successful in the world.
Yeah.
Like, we will continue on and hustle wherever we can, because we've been doing it for how long? Like, they're not going to stop us.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying.
So, OnlyFans, August 19th, they're like, we're banning sexual content.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-day window when it was all over. It was a 5-day window when OnlyFans was no more. I was subscribed to somebody that like literally just started deleting shit.
Damn.
They started deleting everything, taking down all the videos. And they're still deleting their OnlyFans. They're like, fuck OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But, how was that time for you? Like, what were you thinking? What are you thinking when that's going on?
Honestly, I was stressed, because OnlyFans is definitely a big part of my income, as well as in person. So I was stressing the frack out and was extremely pissed off because I was not expecting it at this time. Of course, no one was. But it was just adding, like, salt to the wound, because how many platforms have we lost in the last few years? And then it's like, oh, one of the biggest ones that almost everybody uses is like, yeah, no more adult content. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck you too then. You obviously don't care about us and don't want to lobby against the anti-sex work lobbyists that are trying to take away our livelihoods.
I do think that it's like they will. I mean, if they can come for Pornhub, because Pornhub's bigger than OnlyFans.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
Pornhub's bigger than Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
If they can come for it, like, you still can't buy, like, Model Hub and shit. You still can't buy shit on Pornhub from, like, January.
Damn.
And so it's like, if they can come for Pornhub, they can come for anybody.
Exactly.
It seems like.
Yeah, they can definitely come for a lot of things. They already came for Backpage, so and those their creators are sitting in jail still.
Yeah.
So
did you join any other sites? You on any other sites? Like, I know a lot of people, when like the OnlyFans stuff happened, they're like, I'm going to Pocket Stars, I'm going to Fansly, I'm going to AVN, I'm going to Just for Fans.
I am on Pocket Stars, and I'm also on ManyVids, and I think that's it at the moment.
Okay.
I haven't diversified the rest of my content yet to other platforms. Simply because the fact that I don't want to use Just for Fans because, their creator is a piece of shit. And I also do not want to overstimulate and overwhelm myself, so I'm taking things a day at a time.
Okay. I will say that, I'd never heard of Fansly before.
Me neither.
To me, it was like the weirdest thing. I was like, I've heard of all these websites, I've heard of all the websites.
Yes, but not
and then
this
everyone's
one.
like, Fansly. I'm like, what the fuck is Fansly?
Yeah, where the fuck did Fansly come from? I don't know where this came from. I want to know how old it is.
But apparently, it's a thing now.
Okay.
Or it was a thing for 5 days.
Yeah. I have no idea. Like, they're like, oh, we're not banning adult content anymore. Yeah, you're suspending it, which means you're going to probably do it eventually. So we see you.
What's some of your favorite content that you've created? Best porn.
Let's see. Honestly, the last one I made was great with my friend Devora, and my other favorite one was with my friend Johnny.
Okay.
He was also a sex worker.
Oh yeah.
He's great. But I haven't done like too much porn yet. So in terms of content though, like my own content that I've made, some of my favorite photo sets, which isn't necessarily like porn, is my witch photo set, my succubus one. I'm a succubus, so
nice.
There's a lot of that in my content. And
I like the ram's horns.
Yeah, those are my horns. Those are my favorite.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah. I got those off of Amazon a long time ago. I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay. How, like, I know, so I didn't watch the video with you and Devora, but you kind of like, there's the preview video, right?
Yes.
Where you talking and you talk about like representation in porn.
Yeah.
Like how important is representation in porn for you? Right?
It's very important for me because we don't see a lot of, plus size people, disabled people, like people who just aren't like the stereotypical norm of like what you think you would see in porn, which has been, pushed on us for a long time.
Yeah.
So I need to see more diversity in porn. And so far I'm seeing it, especially with a lot of like my fellow Black creators. They're doing the damn thing.
How does it feel like, like adding yourself like to that body of work that's like might be like not newer, but like underrepresented? Like how is it at like being part of that, I guess, movement maybe?
It feels pretty empowering. It's a little frightening because like I see other people that look like me, but I'm also like, wow, there's not a lot of people that look like me. Because, I got piercings in my mouth, like, and in my nose. And for the most part, like, I have my natural hair or I have, whatever hairstyle I'm having for that time. And, I don't look like your stereotypical porn star.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be heavily tattooed probably by the time I'm 30.
Nice.
So...
I searched fat dude on Pornhub the other day. There's like 1,000 videos. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah. More fat dudes in porn, please.
Yeah.
Like, please. Ugh.
People, you heard it here.
Like, give us more fat men, please, in porn. Give me all the thickums.
Most of the results were just like fat asses. And I was like, that's not what I typed in.
Exactly. I said fat men.
Fat dude.
Which means all of it. The fuck do you mean?
So I feel like, a lot of people maybe when they mention like maybe companion, escort, it's like the vision of what they see is like maybe like a cisgendered,
Yeah, skinny, white blonde
yeah.
person.
Like, do you feel like your experience as like a POC non-binary has been different than that?
That brand?
That brand, I guess.
Yes, my experience has been much different. Very much different. But it makes sense because even in this world, there's going to be Eurocentric beauty standards.
Okay.
So my experience is much different because when I first started out, I was getting many, many hateful emails. So
I do see like people on Twitter just like posting just horrible emails from people. I'm like, how? Like, what is my existence like? Fuck with you. Like,
it bothers them so bad. 'Cause they're lonely and sad and are obviously big pieces of crap because they don't seem like they have any friends, and if they do, they're not good. I feel a little bad for them, and at the same time, I'm like, I don't feel bad for you because you're all grown-ass men, and you need to get therapy.
at least you're outing yourself by like. I mean, it sucks.
Yes.
Well, that's not. I mean, like, it's at least you're outing yourself by being a dick to somebody, but that's not a way to do it, though.
Yeah.
But
Understood.
at least they know that. I mean, I'd rather find out that someone's a dick and not meet them.
Yes, exactly. People telling themselves constantly on Twitter, and I'm like, cool, I don't want to meet you.
Yeah.
I already got the bad vibes, and now this confirmed it.
Yeah. What do you feel like? So I feel like, a lot of, no matter what your job is, like, not every day is going to be like a good day.
Yes.
What are maybe some challenges or frustrations that you might have within sex work?
Some of my frustrations are the carrot dangling clients. I don't even really consider them clients. They're just carrot dangling dipshits. The emails where my rates are too high. That gets annoying. What else? The comments where, would your mother, would your family be okay with you doing this? My retort, my mom knows and does not give a shit. My 95-year-old grandma knows and does not give a shit. My entire family knows. Like, one person may give a shit, but I don't care.
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't care. I'm completely out to everybody I know because it's literally just my job.
Yeah. What do you feel like maybe, I mean, there's so many misconceptions
Yes.
with sex work, sex workers that the public has because the public doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. They don't ask.
Yeah, they don't ask, but then also just like what you are shown is just negative.
Yes.
Most of the time. Mm-hmm. Basically all the time. What do you feel like some misconceptions are that the public has about sex work or sex workers that is just completely false?
Well, that we're home wreckers and that we go after like married men on purpose and try to ruin relationships. Also that we're not getting tested and don't practice safe sex, which in reality, we're the ones getting tested the most than most civilian people because we have to practice like safer sex practices because of the work that we do. And I do both escorting and porn, so I'm constantly on top of my testing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. That's a couple of them.
Fuck yeah. Do you feel like sex work has helped in any other aspects of your life?
I definitely feel that sex work has helped in other aspects of my life, especially when it comes to being more confident within myself, because you have to like be confident to do this job. Otherwise, you're just going to get eaten alive by the wolves. You just have to not let stuff bother you. And I know that's hard because I'm a very sensitive person. But I've had to have a backbone and like have thick skin, and it's thick. And occasionally my feelings do get hurt, but that's because I'm a normal human being.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has those days, no matter who tells you, no, I'm fine. You're lying. Yeah. Stop lying to yourself. It's okay to feel human emotions and to feel bad. Like, that's normal. If you're not, then I suggest staying away from those people unless they're working on that, because some of them do know. And get help.
Do you feel like how you view yourself has changed at all since getting into sex work? Sort of a similar question.
Yes. I look at my former self, or not my former self, my young self, first getting into sex work, and me now as a 26-year-old adult. And I'm like, oh my God. What the hell happened? But not necessarily in a bad way. Like, I've grown up a lot, and I view myself now as a much more, I guess, put together person in terms of just keeping my life together. Like, because when you're a sex worker, like, you're your own boss, so you have to make your schedule like on your terms of like what you want to do, like, or if you're making content, got to keep things organized if you can. If you can't, and but you do it and it works, like, that's great. Because it's hard, like, especially like if you have like ADHD, like executive function issues, any other like illness mentally. Because I'm not afraid to say that I'm on the spectrum and that I have ADD, because that's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So you just deal with it.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for potentially somebody maybe that wants to get into sex work? Do you have any advice for that person? I know I feel like I've asked this question before, and it's like, it always depends on who you're giving the advice to.
Yes.
But in general, do you have any general advice?
Get a burner phone. Like, do not link that ish to anything remotely, like, to your personal life. Also, if you can, find like an older sex worker to, like, not necessarily like bombard with questions, but look at their page, see what their brand is, see what brand you want to do, especially if you're going into escorting. Like, you can take little things from that and different escorts and like make your own brand, but also you're not plagiarizing like directly off of people.
Yeah.
Because of course you're your own person. People do that, which is really shitty, but for the most part, yeah, like, do that. Like, do your research. Do your research, please, before you get into this, because once you go in, you can't come back, and that will be on your record for life, especially if you're doing in-person sex work. Like, OnlyFans, yes, people are going to still give you shit and stigma and all that, but it's a little different when you're doing full-service sex work because it's illegal. So be careful. Have someone to call and be in contact with who knows your location in the event something ever happens to you, which I hope to God it never will. Yeah. But you have to be careful about these things, like, even outside of sex work, like, practice these things, like, because I've had very bad experiences outside of sex work relating to things that could have saved my life if I had known about it earlier. Like, I saved my own life, but in terms of like not giving someone your personal phone number, like in terms of like you're dating outside, like you're trying to get a guesstimate of them, like, don't give them your personal phone number, don't let them pick you up. Like, don't let them know your address. Yeah. Like, stuff like that is, like, also, like, yeah, don't do that here either, because obviously. Yeah. But it works all around.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have any advice? There's somebody listening to the podcast right now. Mm-hmm. They've never seen a companion, but they want to do it. Yeah. They're thinking about it. Mm-hmm. They've been listening to a lot of these episodes. Yep. They subscribe to the podcast. They subscribe to Patreon. They friended me. They, it was great. Okay. I go too far.
Damn.
There's a client listen to this podcast. Maybe they never seen anybody. Do you have any advice for that person that's new?
My advice for the newbies is to do your research on what vibe you want to go with, like who you want to spend time with. Like, are you a nerd? Are you into sports? Do you like going to the movies? Or are you like, I want to go out to dinner, like I want to go to a show? Do your research on what you want to do before you hire one of us, because it'll make things a lot easier, especially if like you're on our Twitter pages or Instagrams. It'll get you to know us a little better. Be respectful. Don't ask invasive questions like, oh, like, what's your real name? And I say this to newbies because some of you don't have any tact.
Yeah.
Yeah, tact. So I nicely say, just be less forward with the personal questions, because I know some of you don't mean harm, but
Yeah.
it can be a little alarming. What's another advice? One more advice. If you're gonna email us, remember, reading the website is key. Please read our websites, because we work very hard on them.
Yeah.
I make mine personally. I edit it myself.
Oh, shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I first started. First, I used Wix. Now I use Squarespace.
Okay.
And yeah, I edit that shit myself. So
Nice.
yeah, very proud of it.
Hell yeah. So let's take a little trip to the future. 5 years from now, 2026. Where you at? What are you doing?
2026, I am stable. I am bi-coastal in both California and Philadelphia.
Nice.
Or even here. Who knows?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's very pretty here, and I wouldn't mind having a house here.
Hell yeah.
And I'm fluent in sign language in another language. Don't know which one.
Nice.
I have to pick. And my family home is renovated.
Nice.
Like, that's important to me, like, for me personally, because I want that to be in our family forever. And I want it to look nice, like, in the event that my mom goes and it's renovated, like, I could potentially sell it and use the money to do whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Or keep it and do exactly what she wants to do with the house to preserve it and continue to keep it that way.
Fuck yeah.
But in the event she's like, no, screw it, because our neighborhood's become extremely gentrified and a lot of them are freaking assholes. I'm like, okay, well, you could just sell it and take all the money and then go retire. I'd like to help my mom retire on the beach somewhere.
Especially if they're in, California.
Yeah.
Those property values.
Exactly. She's a California girl.
Oh,
so, and born and raised like me. So
nice.
I want to be at that level where I can help my mom retire, but I'm stable and have my own places across, the country, and I don't know, maybe have a partner. That's where I want to be.
Hell yeah. Yeah, sounds great.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Are you a fan of stand-up comedy at all?
I am a fan of stand-up comedy. I've always wanted to be a comic, but I'm a little nervous about that because...
See, the barrier to entry, so low.
Yeah.
So low.
I know.
You just gotta go in front of a microphone and just talk into it.
I know, that's the problem.
You don't even gotta be good at it.
I know. I'm just so self-conscious about, like, my voice when it comes to, like, talking about things. Because
okay.
I have a very interesting background. But at the same time, I'm like... If I have a very interesting background, that's something that I could turn into jokes and people want to hear about. Because who knows, maybe someone has the same background as me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love stand-up comedy. I've been watching it for a pretty long time. So.
Do you have any favorite comics at all?
Yeah, I love Eliza Schlesinger. She's hilarious. Dave Chappelle, of course.
So funny.
Chris Rock is a comedian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that man. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. Don't know why, but he's great. Bo Burnham is one of my favorites. He's a lot of people's favorites. I've been watching him
so good.
Yeah, he's so good. I've been watching him for a long time. Like, I can't help myself. But yeah.
Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, do you got a story you want to leave the people on?
A story.
Sex work related story. Any kind of story. Do you got a story for the people?
Let me think. I think I do have a story for the people.
Oh.
I went out to lunch with this client in Dallas, and really sweet older man. And when we went back to my room after, he had me sit on his lap and eat the piece of chocolate cake that I really wanted to eat that he got me from the restaurant. It was fucking bomb.
Hell yeah.
And I sat on him, and he just started stuffing the bills from my rate in different parts of my body, like under my boobs, like in the fold of my thigh, and like in my belly, which was hot because I love my belly. In my thong, and he had me count it.
Okay.
Yep, and I counted out $1,000.
While you're eating the cake?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, I'm like, because as he's doing it, I'm eating the cake and he's putting it in each,
Okay.
part and I'm counting.
Oh, okay.
Like, as he's doing it, yeah. That was a very, very, very good date.
That sounds like really, like, that's great. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was shocked, but
I'm just about to eat this cake.
yeah, very happy.
I'm about to eat this cake, dog. This is great.
Just keep going.
We're like, we should do this more. You know, we should do this more often.
Yes. He was great.
Hell yeah.
Hope he's doing well.
Shout out to that guy.
Yes, shout out to Dallas, man.
Appreciate you subscribing to the Patreon, dog. You the boss, dog.
Yep.
Oh man, Zuri, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been so much fun.
It's been a blast. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Hell yeah. Where can the people find you?
The people can find me at Zuri Love on Twitter, ZURIL0VE, and Instagram, ZURIILOVE. I had to think about that for a second.
Awesome.
And also, if you want to see my website, it's zurilove.com.
Zurilove.com and OnlyFans. Where can the people OnlyFans?
My OnlyFans. Yes, my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/zurilove, ZURRILOVE.
People, everything's there. We got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got the website, we got OnlyFans. Click the links, do the things, give her a fucking subscribe, people. Oh, Zuri.
Come see me.
Hell yeah. Zuri, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you inviting me. Let's do this again one day.
Fuck yeah, it'll happen. Listeners, we'll be back later. I hope you enjoyed my interview today with Zuri Love. Shout out, Zuri. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was such a good time. Listeners, you can find Zuri on Twitter at Zuri Love, spelled at ZURIL0VE, on Instagram at Zuri Love, spelled ZURIILOVE. You can find Zuri on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Zuri Love, ZURRILOVE. And Zuri's website, ZURILOVE.com. I have links in the show notes. Click the links. Do the things. Give Zuri a follow. As always, we're on Instagram and Twitter at Full Service Pod. I am at Tank Funkadelic. Yo, thanks for being here. This has been episode 103. We will be back in 2 weeks on October 19th, so stay tuned. I'm excited for that episode. What's happening? Oh boy, I'm not telling. It's a surprise. So hey, I will tweet about it though. Guaranteed. I will tweet about it. So make sure you're following us there. If you want to support the show, Patreon is the best way to do that. Give us money. Patreon.com/fullservicepod. You can hear episodes, interviews you cannot hear anywhere else. Patreon.com/fullservicepod. If you enjoy the show, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. You'll be alerted as soon as those new episodes drop. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Hope you're thriving. I will see y'all October 19th. Peace. Full service.